Chapter 841 Mechanical Legendary Awakening 2. 841 Mechanical Legendary Awakening 2. They even established a base on the moon and explored it several times. However, because the cost of exploring the starry sky every time was huge, it was equivalent to burning several legendary resources. After not obtaining enough positive feedback in the starry sky, the various countries basically stopped. In the starry sky, apart from the fact that the power of the starry sky was countless times richer than Blue Planet, there was nothing strange. However, it just so happened that Shiyu needed the power of the starry sky environment. It was best if he went to the starry sky to help Buggy evolve, and Dong Huang had the ability to go to the starry sky. Thinking of this, Shiyu recalled what President Lin had said in the meeting. The association would assist the contestants in the final sprint. He could raise any condition. As long as it was reasonable enough, it didn't matter even if he took out legendary resources. In that case, Shiyu did not stand on ceremony. After Lin came to a conclusion, in order to not waste time, he immediately private messaged President Lin. He expressed his hope that before the World Tournament began, it could ascend to the starry sky with the help of Dong Huang and help the butterfly of imagination transform into a dragon. The meaning of doing this was naturally to win the world competition. After that meeting, President Lin indeed received the requests of many people. For example, Zhu Ming hoped that the country could give him a second chance and pity him for giving him a legendary resource on account that he was at the legend level. For example, Jiao Xian hoped that in the final period of time, there would be top-notch mechanical intelligence to assist him in modifying his pet. President Lin would consider the actual situation and the reasonableness of these suggestions and answer. However, Shiyu's request was the most ridiculous. He wanted to go to the starry sky environment to help his butterfly of imagination evolve and break through to Overlord level. The reason why he did this was because he hoped to use the power of the butterfly of imagination after breaking through to evolution to lead him to break through or increase the battle power of an Overlord to more steadily obtain the world competition champion. President Lin's first thought was that Shiyu was crazy. He knew that Shiyu was very strong. Even Baby Ginseng's combination skill could heavily injure ordinary totems and destroy invincible overlords. But there was only one time for a period of time. There was more than one enemy in the world competition. He also knew that Shiyu's normal battle power was not weak. It should be easy for him to defeat ordinary overlords. His strength was much stronger than legends like Zhu Ming, but the problem was that this was still not enough. However, Shiyu was decisive and said that there was no problem. He expressed that he could let President Lin personally test his strength and that they could duel each other. President Lin was silent. He didn't accept the challenge. He didn't have the time to fight Shiyu. Moreover, he couldn't make the decision on this matter. It wasn't something he could decide. To head to the starry sky, the level was about the same as using a divine forbidden weapon. That person had to nod. On this matter, even he couldn't help Shiyu. He might have to awaken the mechanical legendary. Only this person could ensure 100% safety and assist Shiyu in reaching the starry sky. Therefore, President Lin's answer was that he would awaken the mechanical legendary. The subsequent matters would be left to the mechanical legendary, Divine Source Shen Yuan, to decide. The mechanical legendary had also awakened once when the World Tree woke up. When the World Tournament began, it would even awaken and descend on Inatella. Therefore, the awakening this time was not entirely for Shiyu. In short, with the help of the mechanical legendary, Shiyu could reach the starry sky, but if not, it would be difficult. Shiyu waited for a long time and was even about to set off for Rongguang. There was still no news from President Lin, making Shiyu think that it was over. He was afraid that there wasn't enough time. Until the day before they set off. Shiyu, Senior Divine Source, has already woken up. It took him a little time to wake up. Next, come to the capital. After that, he will also go to Rongguang and Inatella with us. He wants to talk to you in person about you. Shiyu, who had been waiting for a long time, finally received a call from President Lin. All right. In Pingcheng, Shiyu took a deep breath and was a little afraid. This mechanical legendary, he actually didn't want to see him. It was mainly because when he had discussed this person with the Sea Dragon King, the Sea Dragon King had said many bad things about. In the Sea Dragon King's description, Divine Source was a very bad-tempered and unreasonable old man. The mechanical legendary was the founder of the modern Dong Huang. He was a complete warmonger. After the totem battle ended and Dong Huang recuperated, he had always wanted to expand Dong Huang's territory and start another war. His evaluation was the same as the Emperor Wu in history, wanting to completely destroy the totem country in the east. However, at this moment, a pacifist legendary appeared in Dong Huang. He advocated a gentle attitude and methods to deal with diplomatic and military issues. This person was the evolution legendary, Lin Feng. At that time, Dong Huang's two legendary beast tamers and its ally, Dragon Palace City, could be said to be at its peak. However, it was said that Divine Source wanted to start a war, and Lin Feng didn't want to start a war, so there was a conflict between the two of them. There was even a huge battle between them. Although it wasn't to the extent of being ruthless, the conflict had clearly already started. No one knew the outcome of the battle, but in the end, Dong Huang continued to develop peacefully. Then, Lin Feng disappeared, and Divine Source turned into a machine and fell into a deep sleep to protect Dong Huang. Shiyu couldn't evaluate these two legendaries either. He felt that both parties made sense. It was not a problem for Divine Source Legendary to wish to completely eliminate the threat, but it was definitely impossible to completely eliminate it. As long as there were enough benefits, the 7 countries could have internal strife, and Dong Huang could have internal strife. It was impossible to completely eliminate the unstable factors. Chapter 842, 842 Mechanical Legendary Awakening, 3. 842 Mechanical Legendary Awakening, 3. As for legendary Lin Feng, Shiyu analyzed through various clues. Lin Feng didn't want to start a war not because he loved peace, but most likely because he was in the 7 countries. He had female confidants in many totem countries. It would be very difficult to end a war. The reason why Shiyu didn't want to see Divine Source Legendary wasn't because he had left romantic debts everywhere like Lin Feng. However, he was lazy and was very afraid that Divine Source Legendary would pull him along and give him some mission to unify the world. But now, it didn't matter. In order to go to the starry sky, he had to ask the mechanical legendary. As long as he could help him, he was a good person. Moreover, after the battle with Lin Feng, perhaps some thoughts of the mechanical legendary had been changed. Imperial Capital. After the mechanical legendary Divine Source woke up, he transferred his consciousness to the machine. President Lin Xiao looked at the mechanical legendary in front of him and was speechless. It was a spherical silver mechanical life form with metal limbs and a red eye. It flew in the sky. In size, it was the size of a football. It was very cute. It looked like a child's remote control toy in a mechanical store. Senior Divine Source, your appearance. The silver robot's red eye glanced at Lin Xiao and said, "There's a shortage of mechanical materials that can accommodate my consciousness. It's already very difficult to create such a body." "I see. By the way, Senior Divine Source, what do you think of the thing I transmitted to you previously?" A few days ago, President Lin had transmitted the matter of Shiyu wanting to go to the starry sky to evolve his pet to the half-sleeping mechanical legendary. However, he never received an answer until now when Divine Source finally woke up. President Lin asked again. "The young man who developed the mechanical phantom beast?" The red eye of the silver robot flickered and said, "The current #1 person below the legends of Dong Huang. The iron-eating beast has the inheritance of Emperor Wu. The butterfly of imagination has mastered the prototype of a creation-type law. The ginseng baby with top-notch time-type skills, and he has obtained the recognition of the heroic spirit of an ancient general. He contracted the blue sea sprite reincarnation. He even ate the mythical undying fruit. Looks like another talented beast tamer has appeared in Dong Huang in this generation, and he's a beast tamer with legendary aptitude." "Yeah." President Lin nodded. Divine Source Legendary said, "Unfortunately, the growth time is too short. To be able to grow to this extent in less than 3 years, he definitely has a huge amount of opportunities on him. Perhaps it's not inferior to the Dragon Emperor's mythical ruins recognizing him as its master. If he was given a little more time, the chances of Dong Huang winning this world tournament might be higher. He's saying that he hopes Dong Huang will assist him in evolution pets in the starry sky to increase the success rate of winning the world competition? Lin Feng nodded. That's what he said. Divine Source said, looks like this young man is very confident in his strength, exactly the same as the Lin Feng back then. How far do you think his strength has gone? President Lin said that Ginseng Baby has mastered the combination skill of the Time Fruit, Revival, and Self-Destruction. It has the battle record of using the power of legendary resources to kill weak totems that have been sealed for 1,000 years. From the power assessment, it's a little difficult to kill ordinary totems, but under totems, no life form can withstand it. Even those lives that are invincible in the Overlord domain will be instantly destroyed. But he can only use this move once for a period of time. It can only be used as a trump card, but it can't be the main attack method. Apart from that, his other pets are also quite extraordinary. I've communicated with the new Guardian Ying. They have battle results of all their members fighting 3 overlords. The 3 overlords are 2 ordinary overlords and a top-notch overlord. They fought relatively reluctantly at that time, but now that a few months have passed, their strength should have already improved greatly. Shiyu has many legendary resources in his hands. His strength progress won't be slow. But since he wants the Butterfly of Imagination to break through above its level, there shouldn't be an overlord level in the team at the moment. If nothing goes wrong, Shiyu's current strength should be close to Divine Bell or not much different from Divine Bell. He's inferior to Yi Xing. It shouldn't be a problem for him to deal with 3 top-notch overlords at the same time. In addition, he has the strategy of self-destructing to kill an invincible overlord. It's very normal to have the idea that he can also compete for the champion position after contracting an overlord. Even I think what he said makes sense. If he contracts an overlord-level Butterfly of Imagination, even if he doesn't break through to level 7, his strength will undergo a tremendous change. Unfortunately, Dong Huang can't find high-level spatial cultivation resources to help beast tamers break through to the legendary level at the moment. Otherwise, we could just give him resources directly. Such resources had always been in short supply. Otherwise, the geniuses of the various countries wouldn't have gone to the World Tournament to find opportunities. Divine Source Legendary said, a level 6 beast tamer with all monarchs can deal with 3 top-notch overlords at the same time and even kill invincible overlords. It's really scary, but this year's world competition is different from the past. Yes, there will definitely be totem-level pets in this year's world tournament. Perhaps there will be more than one. It's fine if it's a beast-type pet, but if it's an elemental, undead, or even spatial pet, even Shiyu's self-destruction strategy won't be too useful. Therefore, under normal circumstances, the champion position is only possible for Yi Xing. His trump card has used 3 legendary resources to strengthen before and after and has already reached the level of an invincible overlord. He has the foundation of a totem. Coupled with other pets and beast-taming talents, he already has the strength of a titled legend. If it weren't for the title of World Legend, he would have even wanted to challenge the other titles in the country a few months ago. Chapter 843 Mechanical Legendary Awakening, 4. 843 Mechanical Legendary Awakening, 4. In the past year of preparing for the World Tournament, Shiyu wasn't the only one who was crazily increasing his strength. These originally incomparably powerful second-generation geniuses were also using the power of the country's machine to increase their strength crazily through their own methods. Wait for this, Shiyu. If his strength can satisfy me, I can bring him to the starry sky, Divine Source Legendary said. Who can stop a young man from pursuing the dream of becoming a champion? Moreover, the information he provided about the mythical era might be able to obtain a mythical resource for Dong Huang. President Lin said, yeah. After Shiyu arrived at the capital, he arrived at the agreed location with President Lin. This place was in the suburbs, the hometown of Divine Source Legendary. At this moment, it was rare for it to wake up and temporarily transfer its consciousness to the machine to move around. Divine Source chose to look around. Little Lin, your strength hasn't improved at all compared to before. Accompanied by Divine Source legendary, Lin Xiao, the president of Dong Huang, became without any dignity and was constantly criticized by Divine Source. It looks like it's a little difficult to rely on you to become Dong Huang's new legendary. Compared to Lin Feng, you're much worse. Lin Xiao kept smiling bitterly and said, Senior Divine Source, my talent is limited. After using so many resources, I'm still a level 8 beast tamer. I can't see any hope of breaking through. I've been disappointing. Sigh. Divine Source legendary sighed. However, Lin Xiao had the help of a bunch of totem-level lives. Although he wasn't a legend, it wasn't something other titled legends could compare to. At that time, in the battle between him and Lin Feng, both parties took a step back. He chose to give up on war, and Lin Feng was willing to nurture a totem-level second-team pet with all his might to become the guardian of Dong Huang in exchange for thousands of years of peaceful development. After that, Lin Xiao, Lin Feng's most talented descendant, inherited the command of these totems. Because of this, when President Lin Xiao established the 13 bureaus of Dong Huang, the first bureau he thought of was the Totem Bureau. I wonder who the next legendary of Dong Huang will be. I hope he won't be born in troubled times again. Divine Source legendary also knew that legendaries weren't that easy to come into being. If legends could still rely on the kindness of their ancestors to become legends, it was different for legendaries. Even if their parents were legendaries, it wasn't that easy. From the looks of it, the possibility of Shiyu is the highest, but his beast-taming talent can't increase his battle power. Even if he becomes a legend, it's very difficult for him to match a demigod like the legendaries of the past. At the same time, Yi Xing, Divine Bell, and the others are still a little inferior. The possibility is even smaller than Shiyu. However, if they have any opportunities in the World Tournament, that might not be the case. In the end, it's better to take it one step at a time. All right. He's here. In the mountain, Divine Source legendary flying in mid-air looked at the sky. President Lin also looked over. They saw a young man in a blue casual suit flying in the sky towards them under the wrap of psychic power. President Lin. After Shiyu found him, he slowly descended and said, "It's been so hard on me." At this, he looked at the silver robot. Name? Attributes, machinery. Energy points? Totem-level little robot? Shiyu was stunned. President Lin immediately said, "Shiyu, this is Senior Divine Source. His consciousness is temporarily attached to this robot." Divine Source legendary. Shiyu was shocked as he looked at the circular silver one-eyed robot. It was rather shocking. What taste was this? Senior Divine Source. Shiyu immediately greeted obediently. Millimeter, the little robot observed Shiyu. "Shiyu, I know you. The mechanical phantom beast system you developed has opened a new chapter in the mechanic class. It's difficult to imagine that you're an archaeologist and have only come into contact with the mechanic class recently." Shiyu smiled and said, "It's all thanks to the pets. Their powers combined and coincidentally created such a miracle. You want to go to the Starry Sky? You want to go to the Starry Sky to help the mechanical phantom beast system and the butterfly of imagination that played a key role in evolution and breakthrough?" "Yes." Shiyu nodded. "Why must we go to the Starry Sky?" Shiyu said, "Because its skill, the Dragon of Imagination, is a dragon transformation evolution skill that can decide the evolution direction on its own. We also obtained the legendary resource, the Green Sky Divine Dragon Ball, in Dragon Palace City. The owner of this Dragon Ball is a half-god of Dragon Palace City who evolved towards the Green Dragon as a template. Therefore, we also decided to evolve towards the Green Dragon as a template. The Green Dragon is one of the 4 spirits of heaven and a constellation god, so the evolution effect in the Starry Sky will be better than on Blue Planet. Apart from the Green Sky Divine Dragon Ball, we've also prepared other evolution resources. We're already completely prepared." Green Sky Divine Dragon Ball? President Lin also didn't know that Shiyu had obtained this resource from Mother Dragon. Although he didn't know what other resources Shiyu had prepared, with this Dragon Ball around, it could indeed maximize the value of resources by evolving towards the Green Dragon as a template. An insect turning into a butterfly turning into a dragon? Divine Source Legendary said. The Green Dragon evolution path is a path that no beast tamer has been able to complete since ancient times, even if it's a legendary beast tamer. Many dragon gods in Dragon Palace City have tried, but they all failed. Do you know what it takes to be successful if you evolve towards the Green Dragon as a template? Shiyu said, Faith Skill. Chapter 844 Mechanical Legendary Awakening, 5. 844 Mechanical Legendary Awakening, 5. All lives born from faith had mastered faith skills. For example, the Blue Sea Sprite's Blue Sea contract was actually a faith skill. Its believers were the entire sea, so it could borrow the power of the entire sea. If the level of the Blue Sea contract was high enough, it could even borrow the power of other creatures who believed in it in the sea through the power of faith. The dragons who were evolving towards the Green Dragon actually wanted to freeload the power of faith of the Green Dragon totem and cultivate faith skills. Unfortunately, none of them succeeded. If there are no faith skills, moving in this direction might not be the best choice. The Green Sky Divine Azure Dragon also failed. All the beast tamers in history have failed. This is an extremely difficult path. Are you sure you still want to try? Divine Source Legendary asked. Shiyu nodded and said confidently, I still want to give it a try. If there were only the Dragon Ball, Dragon Transformation Fruit, Starry Sky Strange Water, and Starry Sky Environment, Shiyu wouldn't be very confident. However, in the depths of his soul, the Green Dragon mural phenomenon brought by his previous life was branded. This was Shiyu's greatest anticipation. After all, the previous yin-yang fish phenomenon had already helped 11 master a quasi-divine skill and evolve into a mythical race. Then, it wasn't impossible for this Green Dragon phenomenon to help Buggy walk a different path. Moreover, even if it failed, with the perfect dragon as a backup, its strength wouldn't be weak. At most, it wouldn't have any faith skills. At most, he would wait for the next evolution. As expected. Divine Source Legendary knew that Shiyu would answer like this, but it didn't matter. Are you that confident that after it evolves, it can help you win the world competition? Divine Source Legendary asked. You have to know that you're not the only one who contracts above your level. At that time, there might be more than one beast tamer who contracts totems above their level. Shiyu was stunned. You're wrong. I want the Butterfly of Imagination to evolve only to increase the success rate of winning the championship. Even now, even if it can't evolve, my goal is to win the championship. If it can evolve, my chances of winning the championship will be above 99%. Legend of Divine Source and President Lin Xiao were stunned when they heard Shiyu's words. At their age, they indeed couldn't keep up with the young people's train of thought. Should he say that Shiyu was confident or arrogant? It was clearly made very clear that there might even be totem-level battle power in the world tournament. In the end, Shiyu was still confident? Very confident, but you should only be a level 6 beast tamer now, right? What confidence do you have to fight your way out of a group of legend geniuses? No matter how superior your pet race is, the other demigod factions aren't easy to deal with. Prove it to me. As long as I see where your confidence comes from, I can do my best to help you. Shiyu had been waiting for this sentence. He said, all right, Senior Divine Source, President Lin. In that case, I'll summon my pet. With that said, purple psychic waves lingered around him. A purple summoning array immediately formed. A black and white 1-meter-tall iron-eating beast cub slowly appeared. Seeing that Shiyu first summoned his initial pet, Divine Source Legendary and President Lin were not surprised. However, soon, they were stunned. Because the aura on this iron-eating beast was clearly at the Overlord level. Senior Divine Source, President Lin, I've already contracted an Overlord above my level and let the iron-eating beast break through. This is the source of my confidence, and the Butterfly of Imagination is the second pet I plan to contract above my level. At this moment, Divine Source Legendary and President Lin had no time to care about what Shiyu said. They were all stunned by the data in front of them. Name Thioneating Beast. Energy points? It couldn't be detected. The energy value was unimaginably huge. Limited by the equipment and technology level, the top detectors in the 7 countries could only detect the highest energy value of 99,999,999. If the energy value exceeded 100 million, it would be impossible to detect. Even the mechanical legendary and the detection equipment worn by President Lin were the same. At this moment, when they saw the energy level of this iron-eating beast, their hearts trembled. They couldn't understand. An iron-eating beast with more than 100 million energy points. Totem level? 100 million was already the threshold of the totem level. Of course, totems with 100 million energy points might be even harder to find than totems with 10 billion energy points. Letting a green silkworm eat the undying fruit and immediately commit suicide. After reincarnation, it might only have this bit of energy. Otherwise, there were basically no totems stuck at this level. No matter what, the iron-eating beast's energy level definitely exceeded 100 million. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Shiyu was only a level 6 beast tamer. How could he contract a totem? Overlord? An invincible overlord whose energy level had reached the threshold of the totem? But the 2 big shots recalled what Shiyu had said just now. He had already contracted an overlord above his level and let the iron-eating beast break through. What an overlord! But how could the data be so high? From Shiyu's experience, it definitely hadn't been long since this pet broke through. The mechanical legendress Red Eye was filled with disbelief. What's going on with it? You've already contracted an overlord above your level, and you still want to contract a second one above your level? Shiyu said, yes. 11, woo woo woo. SOSO. It's because of this that I'm confident of competing with those legends. Chapter 845 Mechanical Legendary Awakening, 6. 845 Mechanical Legendary Awakening, 6. As for why it's so strong, it might be because it ate a little too many resources. Shiyu smiled and scratched his head. President Lin, I got 11 to eat all 11 meteorite fragments and the 2 legendary resources applied from the association, Aurora Magnetic Gold. Then, it became like this. Legend of Divine Source and President Lin were rather silent. As for why ICE already contracted an overlord above its level and still want to contract a second one, that's because the physique feedback it gives me after breaking through an evolution is still very strong. Evolution? President Lin said. Has it already evolved into the trump card of Emperor Wu in history, the demon god iron-eating beast? Shiyu shook his head and said, no, we developed a new evolution path on the basis of Emperor Wu's iron-eating beast. Through the Aurora Magnetic Gold and the meteorite fragment, it completed the evolution of light and darkness. Apart from comprehending the demon god body and completely adapting to its new form, it even converted the White Thunder skill into a racial skill. Apart from that, it also awakened the greatest trump card for us to fight in the world competition. New evolution path. Light and darkness evolution. Divine Source and President Lin, who knew about Emperor Wu's iron-eating beast, were clearly stunned. He didn't expect Shiyu to actually develop a new evolution path with a mature template like Emperor Wu's trump card. Moreover, buzz. The sound of law spread. An invisible aura enveloped the mountains. Woo! At this moment, as 11 stretched out its palm, a black and white metal millstone surrounded by lightning formed. The surrounding space instantly trembled. On the other side, the pupils of the mechanical legendary and President Lin constricted. At this moment, several pets in President Lin's beast-taming space even woke up at the same time. They revealed shocked expressions and sensed an extremely terrifying threat. It was as if a god had descended. This, the mechanical legendary Red Eye that had turned into a circular robot, was extremely shocked. It looked at the yin-yang millstone in 11's hand in disbelief and also fell to suppression from the laws. The two big shots looked at the iron-eating beast in front of Shiyu in confusion. Mythical race, quasi-divine skill. Shiyu's new evolution path evolved this pet into mythical. At this moment, Divine Source, who knew the evolution legend Lin Feng, and Lin Feng's descendant, was extremely shocked when he saw Shiyu, who had achieved something that even Lin Feng couldn't. The strength of an invincible overlord, in addition to a quasi-divine skill. Senior Divine Source, President Lin, do you think this strength is justifiable for me to be confident of competing for the world competition champion? It's all right if it's not enough, Shiyu said, and continued to summon Ling. Under the purple array, wind fluctuations lingered. Ling appeared in the outside world in the form of a wind Kareen. At the moment, it was the only pet not suppressed by 11's quasi-divine skill. Although its level was inferior to 11, it was still a mythical race. Wind Kareen Beast. At this moment, when they saw Ling, Divine Source Legendary, and President Lin, their expressions changed again. Energy points, 21,160,000. But? Buzz. The sound of law spread again. A wind of luck lingered around Ling. Ever since the mythical revival point reached perfect level, Ling could begin to control the wind blessing. It could wrap around its body on its own and make the effect better. However, it couldn't bless others yet. It could only let others freeload through fusion. Without a doubt, at this moment, Ling, who had taken the initiative to evolve into a mythical state and used a quasi-divine skill, was also a mythical race. It also triggered the voice of laws. Boom! The two sounds of laws collided, and the surrounding space instantly tore apart. With a loud bang, the sky suddenly darkened, as if the world had ended. Shocking lightning roared in the sky. Ling, who revived into a mechanical phantom beast through the wind Kareen fossil, also successfully evolved into a mythical race under subsequent upgrades. Although it's only at the monarch level now, in the mythical state, it's not impossible to defeat a top-notch overlord with the help of a quasi-divine skill. The quasi-divine skill, Wind Blessing, is even a skill of luck. It might be able to bring about some unexpected gains in the world tournament. So if the butterfly of imagination can still evolve and break through, I think that in the world tournament, no matter who the opponent is, they shouldn't be able to stop us. At this moment, Divine Source Legendary felt that it had yet to wake up and was still sleeping. Two mythical races? What a joke! Could it be that the mythical era was really about to descend again? Otherwise, why would mythical races appear one after another like it was super common? He looked at President Lin. Was this what he meant by the might not be inferior to Divine Bell? Still inferior to Zhao Yixing? Starry Sky? Damn it, why couldn't they go? President Lin was speechless, though. Chapter 846, 846 The Strongest Foundation of the World Tournament, 1. 846 The Strongest Foundation of the World Tournament, 1. Two pets with quasi-divine skills. What did it mean? It meant that as long as their growth level increased to the totem level, in addition to quasi-divine skills, they would definitely have demigod battle power. Under normal circumstances, legendary beast tamers could contract totem-level pets. However, even if it was a legendary, the contracted totem wouldn't be a totem demigod at the top of Blue Planet's life. They were basically ordinary totems and top-notch totems. At most, it would rely on the enhancement of his beast-taming talent and the number advantage of multiple pets to obtain strength comparable to a demigod. Restricted by resources, talent, and lifespan, it was too difficult for human beast tamers to personally nurture demigod battle power. However, Shiyu directly had the foundation of 3 demigods. How could Divine Source Legendary and President Lin not be shocked? It was fine if it was the Blue Sea Sprite, which was the reincarnation of a demigod. Shiyu was lucky that it acknowledged him as master. That was fine. However, didn't Shiyu's iron-eating beast come from alone from the breeding base? Didn't he develop this mechanical phantom beast himself? It could also cultivate a quasi-divine skill? Most importantly, they weren't even 5 years old. For a moment, even the knowledgeable Divine Source Legendary, who had even relied on a forbidden weapon to destroy a demigod, was stunned by Shiyu's luxurious lineup. It was precisely because he had destroyed the demigod life form that threatened Dong Huang that he understood how rare and terrifying demigod battle power was. If he wanted to kill it, he had to pay a huge price. At this moment, Divine Source Legendary and President Lin recalled the conversation just now. Even if Shiyu stepped into the legendary level, it was very difficult for him to fight against demigods like other legendaries because of his beast-taming talent. Now, they wanted to slap themselves. Even if they didn't consider the unstable factor of the blue sea sprite, Shiyu also had 2 pets that would definitely become demigods. What? Worried that Shiyu couldn't reach level 9, worried that his pets couldn't reach the totem level? Meaningless worry. At this moment, even Divine Source Legendary felt that Shiyu was very likely to win the world competition when he saw Shiyu's 2 pets. After being blessed by the World Tree, even if he didn't level up quickly like Legend Lin Feng, under the growth of mythical pets, Legendary was definitely not a problem. There was even less to worry about the growth of pets. For the sake of making them the level of demigod, Dong Huang would invest resources even if it had to use all its national strength. A living demigod was an existence even more threatening than a divine forbidden weapon. 2 quasi-divine skills, 2 quasi-divine skills. Divine Source Legendary was silent for a moment before he couldn't help but ask, how did you do it? It's not as simple as just relying on evolution resources, right? Shiyu's words were simple, but Divine Source knew that the truth was definitely not that easy. It was impossible to pile up quasi-divine skills with resources alone. Otherwise, which legendary in history wasn't a genius? Which legendary couldn't come into contact with legendary resources or even mythical resources? In fact, it wasn't like there weren't legendary big shots who used mythical resources to evolve pets. But even so, no quasi-divine skill had appeared. It's all right if you don't want to say it, the legendary said. 11 can cultivate a quasi-divine skill and evolve into a mythical race. Compared to evolution materials, I think it's more likely because I developed my telepathy talent a second time through the talent bead the dot. Then, through the new skill of the mind domain, I can assist in the quasi-divine skill it masters. However, I feel that this path is very difficult for others to replicate. This is because even if I also have the talent bead, the talent can't be the same as mine. Because I ate the undying fruit, my physique talent became a little special. This is the main reason why I developed my talent deeply, Shiyu said part of the truth. Of course, the greatest reason why others couldn't replicate it was that others weren't transmigrators. Apart from the undying fruit and telepathy, the power brought by his previous life was also very important. In his previous life, there were hundreds of ruins explored by Shiyu. Among them, after transmigrating, through the memories of the memory water drop, 2 ruins left a very deep impression on Shiyu. One was a ruin with a Taiji yin-yang fish mural, and the other was a ruin with a green dragon painting mural. These 2 ruins were not simple ordinary ruins, but ruins that contained transcendent laws. At that time, Shiyu didn't notice, but now that he recalled it, the transcendent divine essence he saw was clearly branded in his heart. Moreover, these extraordinary divine powers could be augmented on pets. Shiyu felt that it was a pity. If only he had come into contact with more ruins that contained divine power at that time. For example, another vermilion bird divine accumulation. At the moment, the Taiji painting and green dragon painting in his heart were only enough for 11 and Buggy to come into contact. There were too few. It was not enough for the pets to split. If other pets wanted to enjoy the same treatment, they would probably have to wait for his subsequent research. For example, letting Kai Tong and Susu enjoy the enhancement of the yin-yang power of Taiji under the fusion state. After all, they were also yin and yang. He wondered if a similar situation could happen in the ruins of this world. Otherwise, he really wanted to return to Earth and spend a few days searching through the ruins of Earth. Divine Source Legendary and President Lin were slightly stunned. Through the talent bead, he developed the telepathy talent for the second time. He succeeded? Shiyu naturally reported the fact that he had obtained the legendary Yu Maiden talent bead and plundered Legend Bai Chuan's beast-taming talent in the totem era. Shiyu's idea at that time was to try to deeply develop his telepathy talent through the talent bead. Chapter 847, 847 The Strongest Foundation of the World Tournament, 2. 847 The Strongest Foundation of the World Tournament, 2. However, in the end, Shiyu only developed the skill spiritual power. It couldn't be said to be bad. For beast tamers, mastering an extraordinary power was also very rare. President Lin originally thought that even if Shiyu could develop the telepathy talent a second time, it would be a long time later. Even if the development was successful, in terms of battle power, it would at most be like other battle talents, such as the fire element strengthening talent and the water element strengthening talent, giving normal enhancements to pets. But who would have thought that the successful development of the telepathy talent in Shiyu's mouth would actually become the key to assisting pets to master quasi-divine skills? In an instant, President Lin Xiao's eyes turned red. He was envious of his telepathy talent. He even felt that it was too right for Shiyu to eat the undying fruit. The undying fruit modified his physical talent and controlled the talent bead's development talent. Shiyu had completely maximized the value of the resources he had obtained. "Can I take a look?" President Divine Source was numb. He realized that the information about Shiyu he had learned from President Lin was seriously outdated. That made sense. A genius like Shiyu was improving at all times. Shiyu had not spent much time growing up. It was indeed impossible to synchronize information at all times. Yes. Shiyu nodded. At this moment, 11 had already removed the yin-yang millstone and yawned heavily. Ling also removed the wind blessing and returned to the Rubik's Cube. It half closed its eyes and was full. In the center, as Shiyu nodded, he began to show his mind domain to Divine Source Legendary and President Lin. Boom! As Shiyu activated his mind domain, the air around him began to hum and vibrate. The almost corporeal mental wave formed black and white ripples around him. Under the situation where his entire body was wrapped in black and white energy fluctuations, the pattern of Shiyu's eyes quickly changed, directly turning into a spinning Taiji painting. A vast and deep power bloomed from Shiyu's body, and for a moment, Divine Source Legendary and President Lin felt a strong pressure again. Buzz! The sound of laws spread. It made the two of them open their mouths wide. Wait a minute, wasn't this the sound of laws that could only be triggered by the prototype of a divine skill? Why was a human like him? As Shiyu's psychic eye spun, a strong wave bloomed from his body. With him as the center, it quickly formed a domain that enveloped the world. In an instant, a huge spinning Taiji painting appeared in the sky and ground. The entire world turned black and white. On the horizon, there was even a star that was identical to the patterns in Shiyu's eyes. In this domain, it replaced the sun and moon. It was also a black and white circular star. It was like the manifestation of Shiyu's eye of the heart. It hung on the horizon of the domain and watched everything. Under its gaze, the Taiji painting spinning in the sky and ground became more and more blurry. The pattern seemed to have turned into two yin-yang fish that appeared in motion and slowly swam around Shiyu. At this moment, Shiyu's every move seemed to be able to touch the laws. What was this? Legend of Divine Source and President Lin were completely stunned. He called this a telepathy talent? Who? If after Shiyu ate the undying fruit and died, he wouldn't be considered a human after reincarnation. He would be considered an undead-type transcendent life form. They could accept it. However, wasn't Shiyu still alive? Why did it look like he had already become a god? Legend of Divine Source and President Lin were undoubtedly figures at the top of Blue Planet, but they had never seen such a ridiculous beast-taming talent. The level of this power of laws is the highest existence I've ever seen. However, what shocked Divine Source Legendary the most was that the power of Shiyu and the others was not some casual power of laws. The power of laws was also divided into levels. Without a doubt, the power of laws carried by Shiyu and 11 was the strongest. Chaos gave birth to Endless, Endless gave birth to Taiji, Taiji gave birth to 2 elements, and 2 elements gave birth to 4 symbols. This was the derivation process of everything from nothing to nothing. The power on their bodies had already traced the origin of laws extremely far. Even if they were only at the initial stage, their level was still extremely high. At the moment, because Shi Yu and the others didn't study it deeply, they only knew the most basic rules of the Taiji domain. The Taiji painting was also known as the pattern of nature. Therefore, it was similar to the anti-magic domain. It could suppress all natural power, including spatial power. However, the effect was even more perfect than Buggy's perfect anti-magic domain. Apart from being able to suppress it, the effect of 11 mobilizing the power of nature in this field would also be better. The power of the yin-yang millstone would be strengthened. It had done it in the true domain. Shi Yu even suspected that after he activated his talent, he could fight weaker overlords with his bare hands. Once the power of nature was suppressed, with his physique, spirit, a humanoid overlord was born. Who, after Shi Yu displayed it, he weakly dispersed his domain and said under the incredulous gazes of Divine Source Legendary and President Lin, at the start, 11's quasi-divine skill could only be completed with the support of this mental domain. However, as it uses the talent bead to develop in depth, and I can complete this skill independently now. However, the combination of the two is the strongest state. After I activate my talent, its power will multiply when it uses quasi-divine skills. Of course, theoretically speaking, a combination divine skill can only be used once in a long time. The consumption is huge, and the consumed mental strength is very difficult to be nourished by external objects. Chapter 848 The Strongest Foundation of the World Tournament, 3. 848 The Strongest Foundation of the World Tournament, 3. That state can be considered a combined divine skill formed by two quasi-divine skills. A combination skill formed by two quasi-divine skills. After Shi Yu finished speaking, Divine Source Legendary and President Lin were even more stunned. Be a human. The so-called totem demigod could stand at the top of life with a quasi-divine skill. As for those who had two quasi-divine skills that could be combined, such as the Blue Sea Sprite, that was the peak of demigods. After all, the Blue Sea Sprite was the first ocean totem born at the start of the totem era. Now, he was saying that he and the Iron-Eating Beast had also completed the combination divine skill of two quasi-divine skills. Originally, Divine Source Legendary thought that if the Iron-Eating Beast had a quasi-divine skill, the other contestants of the World Tournament would have nothing to play with. In the end, Shi Yu said that he could still use quasi-divine combination skills with the Iron-Eating Beast. Even so, do we still have to go to the starry sky to evolve the butterfly of imagination? Divine Source Legendary said. It'll be safer, Shi Yu said. He couldn't be careless. The corners of Divine Source Legendary's mouth twitched. I understand. I'll protect you as you head to the starry sky and help it complete its evolution in the last time. And what you have to do is fight with all your might in the World Tournament and crush all enemies. You have to obtain the blessings of the World Tree and become a legendary in the shortest time possible. I have to say, Shi Yu, you gave me an incomparable surprise. With shock. In all my life, this is the first time I've seen a beast tamer like you. Fortunately, you were born in Donghuang. President Lin said, yes, don't worry about the ruins exploration mission over there first. Leave it to Lu Qingyi. With your current strength, you can completely compete for the championship position. It's better to concentrate on competing for the championship. If one had to say that exploring ruins was an unstable thing, the blessings of the World Tree were definitely more fragrant to Donghuang. Previously, there was no other way, but now. Shi Yu? Damn, why were they still jumping around? Why didn't they let him explore the ruins? Couldn't he take all of them? The things explored in the ruins might not necessarily be useful. Instead, with your current aptitude, you can definitely obtain the recognition of the World Tree and obtain a lot of important information from it, Divine Source Legendary said. Back then, Lin Feng obtained very important information from the World Tree. What? Shi Yu was stunned. By the way, didn't I obtain some information about the destruction of the mythical era from the Win Karin's dream and deduce that Blue Planet might be facing some enemy from outer space? Didn't Senior Lin Feng learn about this from the World Tree? As the clone of the planet's will, it's impossible for the World Tree not to know about this. Divine Source Legendary shook his head and said, no, at least Lin Feng didn't say. Even the next two beast tamers who obtained the blessings of the World Tree didn't receive similar information. Perhaps the World Tree has other thoughts, or perhaps the World Tree doesn't know when foreign enemies will invade Blue Planet again. There's no need to mention it too early. After all, billions of years have passed since the end of the mythical era. If the World Tree had announced this news hundreds of millions of years ago, would the various Blue Planet factions still care? Not to mention a disaster countless years later, even if it's a disaster 100 years later, how many living beings will take it seriously now? If it's announced, what comes into existence might not be a resistance faction, but a racial faction loyal to external enemies. In the face of power, benefits, and death threats, protecting our home is not something that all lives will defend. But it's undeniable that this is extremely important information. You can definitely obtain a mythical resource at the archaeological conference, Divine Source Legendary said. Then what information did Senior Lin Feng obtain from the World Tree? Shi Yu asked. Divine Source Legendary said, the information he obtained is actually similar to the information you obtained. Your information says that Blue Planet is recuperating. Lin Feng has also mentioned this. The World Tree told him that the reason why Blue Planet's life form can't break through to the mythical stage at the moment is because Blue Planet hasn't recuperated for the time being. It can't support demigod-level life forms cultivating complete divine skills on Blue Planet and the legendary beast tamers upgrading the beast taming space to a mythical beast taming space. It's not because the talent of these legendaries and demigods in history isn't enough, but because the environment doesn't allow it. If these experts who became legends and demigods in the Totem era and the beast taming era go to the mythical era, they can almost steadily enter the mythical domain. In other words, from the end of the mythical era, Blue Planet entered the cultivationless age with incomplete rules. But according to the World Tree, Blue Planet is about to recover. There are even independent mythical mystic realms that have the conditions to break through to the mythical stage. Because of this, after Lin Feng became a legendary, he actively explored various ruins mystic realms and searched for the opportunity to break through to the mythical stage. However, I wonder where he went during his exploration. But with my understanding of him, he shouldn't die so easily. The Age of Doom, a mythical opportunity. Shi Yu was slightly stunned. As expected. Shi Yu, looks like Lin Xiao has completely underestimated you. Your talent and opportunities are one of the best in the East for millions of years. You're completely capable of becoming the next legendary of Dong Huang. Therefore, you have to get the championship of the World Tree. Chapter 849 The Strongest Foundation of the World Tournament, 4. 849 The Strongest Foundation of the World Tournament, 4. Divine Source Legendary said. Initially, he wasn't very confident that Yixing and Divine Bell could win the World Tournament unless they had another opportunity in the World Tournament. However, Shi Yu's appearance gave Dong Huang hope. Perhaps this time Dong Huang could obtain a second World Championship. They would return to the peak era that had just been established by the Seven Nation Alliance. Even Divine Source and President Lin had to admit that as Lin Feng disappeared and as Shui Yuan and Shen Feng gradually obtained the blessings of the World Tree, even if Dong Huang had an ally, Dragon Palace City, it was very likely that it was no longer the former #1 country. However, if Shi Yu obtained the championship of this world competition, it would be completely different. I will. Shi Yu nodded and said, but Senior Divine Source, if I reveal my quasi-divine skill in the World Tournament, I'm afraid many totem factions will see me as a threat. When you go over, bring more forbidden weapons. Divine Source Legendary, of course. Who dares to have ill thoughts on Dong Huang's genius? I'll call all Dong Huang's trump cards and forbidden weapons over. But speaking of which, apart from this iron-eating beast, it should have inherited the power of the mythical fossil to master a quasi-divine skill. Divine Source Legendary looked at the mechanical Kirin. It had to be admitted that Shi Yu, this young man, had completely exceeded him in the mechanical field. At least, even he couldn't develop mechanical beasts of mythical races. Yes. Shi Yu nodded. Divine Source Legendary said, Wind Blessing, the skill of luck. This is an auspicious sign of Dong Huang's prosperity. This awakening was indeed correct. Originally, I was still worried about the future Dong Huang, but from the looks of it, I can rest assured. Apart from these two pets, your other pets are probably not weak either. Shiyu said, well, the heroic spirit of General Mu Huiyin has already completely digested the power of the legendary bone sword of ancient capital university and mastered the dead revival skill with high proficiency. Although it's only at the monarch level, it can already control the overlord level undead puppet. At the moment, it has 3 overlord level undead puppets. It's also easy for 4 undead to fight a top-notch overlord together. Divine Source and President Lin Feng fell silent again. In fact, Shiyu had yet to say everything. In fact, the most impressive thing about Kai Tong at the moment was that it had perfected the perfect level undead revival and scapegoat into a combination skill. Apart from the 2 scapegoats it had created, it could also let the undead puppet it controlled be a scapegoat to withstand the injuries. Coupled with the perfect level Demon Blade Curse and the profundity of Myriad Sword Convergence, and possessing Shiyu's current Quasi-Overlord physique, Quasi-Overlord Spirit, and Overlord-level Soul, if he erupted with all his might, he might be able to suppress a top-notch Overlord and have the battle power of an invincible Overlord. Baby Ginseng's performance is stable, but its normal strength is extraordinary. Now that the time mark is ready, if necessary, it's not impossible to self-destruct and heavily injure the totem. Apart from that, its Time Fruit is a skill that can transform potential. Now that Eleven and Ling are both mythical races, the effect will be even better if they eat the Time Fruit. The upper limit is no longer at the Overlord level. Within the acceptable range, they might be able to temporarily display totem-level battle power. Even if the opponent contracts a totem above their level, we're not afraid. President Lin gulped. He finally understood why Shiyu had come to challenge him to verify his strength a few days ago. This guy's current strength. Although President Lin wasn't weak himself, excluding the totems left behind by ancestor Lin Feng, if his invincible overlords were careless, they would definitely suffer greatly under Shiyu. Fortunately, he ignored Shiyu because he was busy. Otherwise, Divine Source Legendary was also rather silent. Shiyu's pets were simply top-notch. Animals, plants, machinery, and undead were clearly divided into different categories, but they were even more perfect than the combination tactics of beast tamers who specialized in certain types. This was the advantage of a powerful race. In fact, Divine Source Legendary felt that it was completely unnecessary for Shiyu to go to the Starry Sky to evolve. From the current lineup, although there was only one Overlord and the remaining were all Monarchs, and Shiyu was even a level 6 Beast Tamer, why did it give him the feeling that he could already kill indiscriminately in the World Tournament? If you were going to fight in the Baby Cup? Also, the Blue Sea Sprite reincarnation has already obtained a portion of the inheritance of the Blue Sea Sprite in advance through the cheat. Its race has already turned into the Blue Sea Sprite and has the foundation of the strongest demigod. It has learned the Blue Sea Contract and the Sea Cleansing Spirit. Although the current it is also at the Monarch level, it should be easy to deal with a top-notch Overlord. If the enemy is that kind of poison element life form, due to the restraint of its attributes, the battle power it can display might even be stronger. I think since I've already used the quasi-divine skill, it shouldn't be a big deal to directly let it use the signature skill of the Blue Sea Sprite. In any case, I've already attracted enough hatred at that time, so I don't mind another one. Moreover, the Blue Sea Sprite has done many Ocean Totem factions a favor. If it publicizes its identity in the World Tournament, what it gains might not necessarily be enemies. Perhaps there are totem allies like Dragon Palace City. Legend of Divine Source, President Lin? Damn! They wouldn't have known if they didn't ask, but this was a shock. The two of them widened their eyes and felt that Shiyu's lineup was more and more ridiculous. What? The Blue Sea Sprite had already accepted the inheritance. Moreover, after accepting the inheritance, it was still beside Shiyu? They were stunned for a moment. Although they didn't know why, they felt that Shiyu was going to ruin this world competition. On the Butterfly of Imagination side, its battle power is actually not weak either. It's the pet that's most compatible with my psychic skill. Before this, we've already defeated the secondary pet of the Space Emperor that broke through to Overlord, the Void Mantis. After it breaks through, in the worst case, it will definitely have the strength of a top-notch Overlord. If my spiritual power increases, it will be even stronger. President Lin and the others were silent. Are you confident in contracting a second overlord above your level? The mechanical legendary divine source only felt that his throat was dry, although he was a machine now and didn't have a voice. Yes. Shi Yu nodded. He trusted Ling very much. Until now, Ling had been very stable. Apart from its research speed being slower, it had never made a mistake. If it said that it was 100% fine, then it was 100% fine. Then go and prepare. Little Lin, I'll bring Shi Yu to the starry sky. Bring the others to Rongguang first. At that time, Shi Yu and I will parachute from the starry sky to Rongguang to find you. I'll do my best this time. We'll be back soon. It won't take too much time. President Lin Xiao's face was still numb. He nodded to indicate that he understood. This was. They were about to completely crush the hope of other countries winning the championship. A level 6 beast tamer contracting 2 overlords above his level. Moreover, these 2 overlords were probably not simple. President Lin Xiao didn't believe that Shi Yu, who had evolved into 11 and Ling, would fail to evolve that butterfly of imagination. Even if he couldn't become a green dragon, it shouldn't be a problem to become a perfect dragon. It was definitely another ridiculously strong overlord. He seemed to have already seen the sad faces of the totem countries. A day later, Shi Yu brought the legendary resource, Green Sky Divine Dragon Ball, and Dragon Transformation Fruit, and the Space Strange Water that had finally become a legendary resource under Susa's hard work for half a month. He was already prepared to set off for the starry sky. Although Buggy's evolution didn't have a luxurious transcendent skill like 11, it had 3 legendary resources, Starry Sky Environment, and the same, Spirit Domain. Shi Yu looked forward to how far Buggy's evolution could reach. He didn't ask for mythical races or quasi-divine skills. In any case, after Buggy's Dragon of Imagination reached Transcendent, it could still evolve again, but it wasn't too much to give a faith skill like Susu, for example a Green Dragon faith skill, right? At that time, in the World Tournament, would many totem countries and even the 7 countries mistakenly think that he had contracted the Green Dragon Holy Beast when they saw Buggy use the absolutely impossible Green Dragon faith skill? The scene made Shi Yu happy. Chapter 850 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 1. 850 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 1. President, where's Shi Yu? It was about to set off for Rongguang. The Donghuang archaeological team participating in the archaeological conference and the Donghuang sequence participating in the World Tournament had already gathered. Their relatives and friends, such as Principal Feng of Ancient Capital University, the Gem Cat, and the Tyrannical Sea Legend, were also in the same team. However, someone couldn't help but ask when he saw that Shi Yu wasn't among the gathered members. Shi Yu? President Lin looked at the questioner and said, he has something to do. He'll go to Rongguang himself later. Go himself? Is that all right? Divine Bell frowned. Inatella was about to open in 10 days. Now, not only Donghuang, but the other totem countries also made a move. It was the most chaotic situation in the world. At this moment, Shi Yu wasn't following the team. Instead, he was running around. He didn't look like he wanted their protection. No problem. President Lin smiled. That ancestor of hers was personally protecting Shi Yu. Fortunately, Divine Source Legendary was not interested in arranging the fate of his descendants. Otherwise, he would definitely matchmake her with Shi Yu. At this moment, the mechanical legendary that had originally planned to pay attention to Yixing and Divine Bell had probably been completely attracted by Shi Yu. All his energy was placed on Shi Yu. When Shi Yu and the mechanical legendary returned from the starry sky, Divine Bell and the others would probably know how ridiculous Shi Yu's true strength was. The subsequent world competition, it would probably become Shi Yu protecting them. At the same time, somewhere in Donghuang, Shi Yu looked at the huge spaceship in front of him. Name? Energy points? Obviously, it was a totem-level mechanical life form. This was a huge silver circular spaceship supported by 4 mechanical feet. It looked like it could accommodate many people. From its appearance, it was very similar to the current mechanical body of the mechanical legendary. "Come in." The mechanical legendary, Divine Source, flew in the air. As it spoke, the door of the spaceship automatically opened. He said, "This time, we're going to the most famous silver ring star belt near the moon. That's the area with the richest and most complicated radiation power in the solar system, recognized by the 3 countries, Shenfeng, Shuiyuan, and Donghuang. At the moment, there's a shortage of time. We can only head here, regardless of whether it's the best choice." Shiyu nodded. Any starry sky environment would do. In any case, with the current level of Donghuang's mechanic class, it was impossible to do the few constellations that formed the Green Dragon pattern. What was there to choose? Wu Tilda? At this moment, Buggy and the others had long been summoned by Shiyu. They sized up the spaceship happily. After all, this was the first time he had left Blue Planet. Shiyu naturally wanted everyone to take a look. It was a trip. After Shiyu was thrown a silver-white spacesuit by Divine Source Legendary planned to set off immediately. Time was tight, and he couldn't delay. Before setting off, he glanced at Buggy. Name: Butterfly of Imagination. Attributes: Spirit, Space. Energy points: 7,670,000. This normal energy value was already very rare and precious for a worm-type life form. Moreover, it had also mastered the extraordinary transformation evolution skill, the Dragon of Imagination. Divine Source Legendary also looked forward to what this green silkworm that had relied on the demigod sea serpent Dragon Ball to evolve could achieve with another Dragon God Dragon Ball. In the past, every job of exploring the starry sky was a big matter that the country paid attention to. It was also a competition for the technological strength of various countries. However, as the level of the various countries' mechanical domains increased, they rarely paid attention to the starry sky. Less than 5 people knew about Shiyu and the others' departure. After the spaceship set off, it flashed through the atmosphere. In the spaceship, Shiyu and the others didn't feel any pressure at all. It was as if they were sitting at home, looking at the changes in the scenery outside the window. This spaceship was very fast. It gave Shiyu the feeling that they had left Blue Planet in just an instant. The Silver Ring Star Belt is made up of a group of floating silver asteroids. When the time comes, the spaceship will dock nearby. There's extremely strong cosmic radiation there, and the environment is harsh. You can temporarily move in the starry sky in this spacesuit. As for your Butterfly of Imagination, with its ability, as long as it's not long, it shouldn't be a problem to move for a short period of time. All right. Shiyu nodded. In fact, Buggy had long used the imagination domain to simulate the starry sky environment to train. Although it couldn't move in the starry sky for a long time, it had indeed trained a certain amount of resistance. However, if it could evolve into a green dragon, it should have the ability to travel through the universe, right? In the future, Shiyu could naturally let Ling study a spaceship or even a cosmic battleship. However, Shiyu felt that riding a green dragon-shaped worm through the atmosphere and into the starry sky felt more impressive. Woo! At this moment, 11 and the others were lying by the window, looking down with shining eyes. The surroundings were silent and dark. Suddenly, the entire Blue Planet appeared in front of Shiyu and the others. Blue Planet looked especially beautiful in the starry sky. The vast blue ocean, the green dense forest, the white snow that didn't melt all year round, and the large yellow desert could be seen clearly from here. Ning. Susu lay on 11's head and reminded. As expected of the sea it protected. It was indeed beautiful. Chapter 851 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 2. 851 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 2. Even Blue Planet was named after this. It looked at Buggy beside it angrily, hoping that Buggy would be more reliable this time. After all, the cosmic strange water mass was the fruit of its hard work for half a month. It didn't have high requirements. As long as Buggy could materialize a perfect galaxy and star C for it to experience after evolution, it was fine. Woo Tilda the worm looked at Susu gratefully. It expressed that the next time it fantasized about a training environment, it would give Susu a special treatment to strengthen its training environment and make it more cruel. This way, it could better increase its strength. M.I. Tilda. The focus of the sword spirit, Kai Tong, was not on Blue Planet, but on finding the sun. It had a premonition that its perfect spirit release or transcendent spirit release definitely had a form that was related to the sun. Yi! At this moment, baby Ginseng was the most excited. It felt that it was getting closer and closer to the moon. If it self-destructed here, the power seemed to be much greater than self-destructing on Blue Planet. It really wanted to take the moon back. Shiyu also summoned all the members of Team 2. Roar! Quack Tilda! The Earth Dragon like Little G and the Abyss Demon Duck Reincarnation Duck looked at Blue Planet with emotion. At this moment, they suddenly felt that the ocean and ground of Blue Planet were a little small. But soon, they were even more indignant. If they couldn't even conquer such a small ocean and land, how could they conquer the starry sky? In short, it was better to be in the first team. According to their understanding, Big Sister Susu in the first team had already aimed at the position of Lord of the Star Sea. Too powerful. Chi, who was also wearing a silver spacesuit, also leaned against the window and looked outside excitedly. She naturally knew the goal of this trip to help Buggy evolve. She, who had stayed in Tingxiang Palace previously, couldn't imagine that someone would actually come to the starry sky to help pets evolve. Your pets are really strange. The mechanical legendary evaluated Shiyu in its heart. Shiyu's pet style was completely different from any legendary in history. Some people evaluated pets of various legends like this. Emperor Shi and Emperor Kong's were mysterious because of their attributes, Emperor Wu's was domineering because of their styles, the Empress and the Dragon Emperors were noble because of their races. As for Shiyu, apart from the mechanical phantom beast formed by the mechanical tyrant dragon and the mechanical dragon that looked a little like an expert, the mechanical legendary didn't think that these pets looked strong. They felt very harmless. Of course, the mechanical legendary knew that this was all an illusion. For example, that silly duck was actually a demigod reincarnation of the Abyss Sea. The mechanical legendary felt that no one else would expect it. That was why he said that Shiyu's style was very special. As time passed, Shiyu and the others were getting closer and closer to the silver ring. In Shiyu's vision, he could gradually see a silver ring area in the dazzling starry sky. Behind it was an incomparably bright moon. It was said that there were also several mythical and legendary ruins on the moon. They were built by many divine beasts from the mythical era. It could be known that in the mythical era, those divine beasts had obtained the ability to leave Blue Planet and live in the starry sky. No wonder the dragon god said that every mythical creature had the ability to transcend Blue Planet. Senior Divine Source, we're almost there, right? Shiyu was already looking forward to it. Woo Tilda Buggy also started to look forward to it. However, at this moment, the legendrous Red Eye was filled with a strange gaze. He said, there are some problems. What's wrong? Shiyu's heart skipped a beat as he asked nervously. Please don't let it be that the spaceship malfunctioned and couldn't be returned. They didn't want to wander in the starry sky. It's nothing. It's just that I didn't expect that apart from us, someone else would actually come to the Silver Ring Belt at this time, the mechanical legendary said. There are others here? Shiyu was stunned. The mechanical legendary said, it should be someone from Yishan Feng, or Shui Yuan. Among them, the chances of the people from Shui Yuan, also known as Snowfield, are higher. No, I should say it has to be Snowfield. But there's no need to worry. We won't interfere with each other when we do our things. All right. Shiyu nodded and asked. Don't tell me they appeared here also to cultivate with the power of the starry sky? The mechanical legendary said, we can't rule out this possibility. They clearly came very early. If we had enough time and had also brought Yixing here this time, he would have also obtained huge gains. After all, his talent is related to stars. In Snowfield, there might also be beast tamers with similar talent. Silver Ring Star Belt. On a certain small silver planet. A spaceship was also docked here. At the same time, there were several humans in spacesuits near the spaceship. Beside them were pets of different forms. They didn't realize that apart from themselves, another group of people had already approached the Silver Ring Belt. The entire Silver Ring Star Belt was still very huge. Moreover, if the mechanical legendary was so easy to discover, he wouldn't be called that in the first place. Soon, the spaceship Shiyu and the others were teleported to another silver celestial body. Shiyu, who was wearing a silver spacesuit, walked out excitedly and stood on the asteroid. Chapter 852, 852 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 3. 852 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 3. With psychic power, he could easily overcome the harsh environment in this place without gravity and wouldn't be too affected. As for Buggy, it was even less of a problem. Woo! As soon as it came out, Buggy indeed felt a strong starry sky radiation. If it were little G or Ducky, they would definitely immediately mutate and die. So scary. It hurriedly expressed that it should call baby Ginseng out too. It was rare for them to come here. It wanted to collect more starry sky mutation power and create some mutated starry sky fruits. Just like Shiyu, it was an old capitalist. Baby Ginseng didn't stop even when it came out to travel. Will the effect of summoning the strange water here be better? Shiyu also said. No matter what, the most important thing now was to hurry up and evolve. Their deadline was not the world competition in 10 days. After evolution, he had to go back immediately. After all, Shiyu still had to rush to Rongguang to participate in the archaeological conference and collect his mythical resources. Time was very tight. Then, Senior Divine Source, let's begin. Shiyu said to the mechanical legendary who had also followed out. Yes, go. With me beside you, don't worry and evolve, the mechanical legendary said. It felt very safe. Woo! Buggy flew high into the starry sky with the radiation and the moonlight. Its evolution didn't have to be as troublesome as 11. When 11 evolved, it first had to perfectly break through to the Overlord level. Then, with the foundation of the Overlord level, it would digest the meteorite fragment and evolve into a demon god iron-eating beast. Then, with the help of superalloy, it completed the subsequent evolution. But for Buggy, it just needed to directly absorb the power of the Green Sky Divine Dragon Ball, Starry Sky Strange Water, and Dragon Transformation Fruit in the spatial pocket. There were no steps. Right on the heels of that, with the power of the 3 legendary resources, the perfect level imagination domain, the Dragon of Imagination, the Overlord's Will, and the power of the Mind domain, he imagined perfecting its green dragon body and completing evolution. This process was in one go and continuous. However, it might take longer to evolve than other pets. After all, 3 legendary resources could usually allow pets with outstanding aptitudes to break through to the totem level. Absorbing such a huge amount of power at once and transforming them into racial potential was not a small project for Buggy of a middle-level Overlord race. Name: Buggy. Race: Butterfly of Imagination. Attributes: Spirit, Space. Race level: Mid-level Overlord. Level of growth: Monarch level. Race skill: Levelless, Worm Silk, Dao Proficiency. Low level, Psychic, Dao Proficiency. Advanced, Dream Steel, Dao Proficiency, Space Pocket, Dao Proficiency. Super level, Imagination Domain, Perfect, Dragon of Imagination, Perfect. Teaching skill: Intermediate, High Speed Healing, Transcendent, Super Sight, Transcendent, Heart Strike, Transcendent. Advanced, Absolute Sleep, Transcendent, Illusory Phantom, Transcendent, Deterrence, Dao Proficiency, Space Shackles, Transcendent, Instant Transmission, Transcendent, Concealment, Transcendent, Multiplication, Dao Proficiency, Swarm Command, Transcendent, Clone, Dao Proficiency. Super Level, Space Control, perfect, anti-demon domain, perfect, ultimate absorption, perfect. Normal energy points, 7 million plus. Will level, advanced, Overlord's will. Although Buggy's heritage wasn't as rich as Eleven's and didn't have as many racial skills, unlike 11, Buggy's evolution skill was a racial skill. It was far more suitable for him than 11's superally and Baby Ginseng's mutation. After checking Buggy's data one last time, Shiyu said, "Come on," Shiyu ordered. Buggy, who had a gorgeous body, also took a final look at itself with reluctance. In its aesthetic sense, it was more pleasing to the eye at the moment. However, in order to become stronger, it didn't want to be a worm. The current change was only for a better future. In any case, when the Dragon of Imagination reached perfection or even Tao proficiency, it could still evolve again. At that time, it would transform itself into the most beloved and perfect race. As for now, it would make do with the dragon form first. Buggy's gaze gradually became firm. Then, it closed its eyes and entered the dream state, starting to fantasize. Firstly, through the imagination domain, it mobilized the power of the surrounding starry sky to form a perfect evolution environment. According to the legends on Blue Planet, soon, the first light appeared in the starry sky. It was like a star or constellation in the dark and deep universe. Then, a second light appeared. Second, third, fourth. The 7 lights that appeared connected to each other to become a domain, triggering the huge power of the surrounding starry sky, turning into the prototype of the 7 eastern constellations in the 28 constellations. Jiaosu, Kangsu, Diaisu, Fangsu, Shinsu, Weisu, Jisu. Before ascending to the starry sky, Buggy and the others spent a lot of effort. Soon, a 10,000-meter-long star domain that looked like a divine dragon was condensed by Buggy through the imagination domain and the power of the starry sky. Of course, the current 7 constellations were only there for looks. They could only be considered preparatory work. Buggy was located among them, like the eye of the Green Dragon constellation. It seemed to have used its combination profundity, the finishing touch. Interesting. The mechanical legendary was beside him. He looked at Shiyu and the others who were preparing and focused. Chapter 853, 853 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 4. 853 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 4. It looked like in order to evolve towards the Green Dragon form, Shiyu and the others had made a lot of preparations. Woo! Exhausted. At this moment. After the preparations were over, Buggy began to absorb the power of the strange water in the starry sky that had been placed in the spatial pocket for a long time, including the Dragon Transformation Fruit of Dragon Palace City. It had been hungry for a long time. Among them, the Dragon Transformation Fruit could optimize Buggy's physique. The Dragon Ball could increase Buggy's power of imagination and simulate the Green Dragon with the power of imagination. As for the Starry Sky Strange Water, it could increase Buggy's affinity for the power of the starry sky, allowing it to absorb the huge power of the stars as much as possible. Woo! So full. Although the outside world couldn't tell, Buggy was already about to explode. It had no choice but to immediately activate its foundation and break through. Boom! Under the lead of the Overlord's will and its racial skills, the aura on its body began to climb steadily. At the same time, it connected the power of the 3 legendary resources to the imagination Green Dragon. In the cosmic storm that swept through the starry sky, the light was incomparably dazzling. Soon, a huge evolution light enveloped the Green Dragon constellation 10,000 meters tall and also wrapped Buggy. The power of the starry sky gathered and became nutrients to form this new body. At this moment, although it was still in the evolution process, Buggy's race had already begun to increase rapidly under the preparations of various evolution work. Energy points, 10 million. 20 million. 30 million. 40 million. 50 million. 60 million. 70 million. Even if it was a worm, under the continuous strengthening of the 3 legendary resources, it was difficult not to become a top-notch overlord. Moreover, Buggy, who evolved with the help of the Dragon of Imagination, was no longer a worm. The dragon attribute would become its new attribute, an attribute that came with its normal state. Not bad, very imposing. I didn't come for nothing. I didn't expect this little guy to have the will of an overlord. Looks like after breaking through, it will have at least 80 million energy points. At the same time, its physique won't be inferior to a true quasi-mythical dragon. In addition to the spatial element, the power of imagination, and Shiyu's psychic resonance, another invincible overlord is born. At the side, the mechanical legendary nodded silently. At his age, he suddenly had a whim. He could already imagine Shiyu representing Dong Huang in the World Tournament. Shiyu stood on the asteroid with a burning gaze and looked at the 10,000-meter-long green dragon constellation in the starry sky. He communicated telepathically at all times to try to touch the divine power of the green dragon. When he evolved 11, Shiyu came to a conclusion. Only when the pet had the corresponding compatibility could it resonate with the corresponding divine power in its mental memory. 11 was originally not compatible with the Taiji domain, but as 11 evolved and mastered the corresponding yin-yang power, it immediately obtained a certain compatibility with the Taiji domain. Therefore, theoretically speaking, it should be the same for Buggy. In the state of the butterfly of imagination and under the normal state of the dragon of imagination, it might not necessarily have any compatibility with the green dragon domain. However, at this moment, through the power of the stars, through the wood element dragon transformation fruit, through the dragon ball left behind by the green sky divine azure dragon that was evolving towards the green dragon, and through the power of imagination, the Buggy that almost perfectly simulated the green dragon form should have a certain compatibility with the green dragon domain. Shiyu knew that the aura of Buggy's evolution was no longer weak. After evolution, its initial energy level would probably not be lower than 70 to 80 million. However, although the mechanical legendary was satisfied, Shiyu was not. This level was far inferior to the real green dragon. The real green dragon was a god, not a dragon. It was the form of a dragon formed by the power of faith in the stars. It was a god race, not a dragon race. If it existed, it had to be at the same level as the blue sea sprite. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Under the entanglement of the green evolution light, the huge power of the stars had already outlined a dragon form. Its entire body was slowly perfecting. However, Shiyu was still constantly communicating with the green dragon domain and trying to assist the evolution of the worm. Finally, as the green dragon's body was perfected, hard work paid off. Boom! An extremely terrifying dragon might also erupted from Shiyu's body. His black eyes directly turned into golden eyes that were filled with supreme might. Ooh? What's wrong? The sudden change in Shiyu's body shocked the mechanical legend beside him. At this moment, green-gold fluctuation spread from Shiyu, who was still very normal just now. The shocking sight of his golden eyes were especially prominent in the starry sky. The mechanical legend was slightly stunned. Shiyu's form was a little similar to the mental domain displayed previously. But at that time, didn't Shiyu say that the developed mind domain could only power up that iron-eating beast? The yin and yang psychic domain was indeed not compatible with the butterfly of imagination that was currently evolving towards the green dragon. No. What Shiyu displayed at this moment was not the yin and yang heart domain at all. Instead, it was another type. Senior Divine Source, I think I understood something. My telepathy seems to have broken through. Divine Source? As Shiyu finished speaking, with a boom, a domain expanded on his body again and fused with the green dragon domain that Buggy had imagined. The entire green dragon constellation was even more dazzling and magical. The mechanical legendary opened its mouth slightly, although it didn't have a mouth in its current robot form. He just didn't understand. Was the telepathy talent really that magical? Chapter 854, 854 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 5. 854 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 5. At this moment, he could indeed sense that the power on Shiyu's body was all materialized from mental fluctuations, but what was with this incomparably vast power? Who? At this moment, in the dark memory world, Shiyu saw a star palace. It was a green dragon mural connected by a constellation. It emitted a mysterious magic power that touched Shiyu's heart. Immediately, Shiyu's psychic power directly connected to Buggy. The evolving Buggy also suddenly saw this mysterious mural. The transcendent power on the murals was like faint starlight, constantly gathering towards its body like the power of the starry sky in the silver ring belt. At this moment, Buggy, who had already felt its strength become more and more terrifying, felt that it was several times stronger than before. Woo! Boom! In the 10,000-meter-long Green Dragon constellation, Buggy finished the painting. The eyes of the Green Dragon constellation were the first to open, golden eyes identical to Shiyu's, like the eyes of a god circling in the ancient starry sky, staring at the small planet. It wasn't over yet. Buggy and Shiyu felt that this was not the end of evolution at all. At this moment, Buggy had a magical feeling. Apart from the power of the starry sky drifting in the starry sky, apart from the void power and natural power that filled various places, it could also sense another incomparably magical spiritual energy. This pure spiritual energy was incomparably vast. It dotted the blue planet in the distance and resonated with Buggy. In just a short moment, Buggy realized what this was. It had actually sensed this power in the heavenly Fox Nation. This power appeared on the fox statues. The power of faith. That was the power of faith for the Green Dragon Totem and the Green Dragon Holy Beast. Buggy felt that it had absorbed the power of the starry sky, the Dragon Transformation Fruit, the Green Sky Divine Dragon Ball, and the power of Shiyu's heart. This couldn't be considered to have completed the complete evolution of the Green Dragon. Only by receiving the power of faith could he truly complete what many legends and demigods couldn't. It wanted to become a real Green Dragon. I need your strength. I need your strength. The spiritual connection that crossed space was transmitted to the distant Blue Planet. On Blue Planet. Donghuang, Green Dragon Village. This was a small village under a third-level city. It was ordinary. In the village, the strongest beast tamer was only a professional. However, this village had a high-end and generous name, Green Dragon Village. The reason was very simple. In ancient times, natural disasters wreaked havoc in the few villages around the Green Dragon Village. There was no harvest for farming, and the people were poor. In order to survive, the people nearby began to worship the gods. They chose the Green Dragon Totem made up by older people. The Green Dragon Totem was known as the guardian god of the East. It had the transcendent ability to make everything vibrant. Although this ability was very common among many transcendent creatures, it was not so easy for weak ordinary people to come into contact with. Since he wanted to believe, he naturally had to believe in the strongest. Coincidentally, under the worship of the villagers of the Green Dragon Village, the surroundings really began to be smooth. Everything revived, and the entire Green Dragon Village was passed down in various disasters. Therefore, the custom of believing in the Green Dragon Totem was preserved here. It was passed down for hundreds of years, and the name of the village changed because of this. Because the Green Dragon Totem was a fictional totem, ever since Donghuang entered the modern era, it had never attacked the tribes that believed in the Green Dragon. Therefore, many tribes that believed in the Green Dragon were preserved and lived everywhere in Donghuang. At this moment, in the Green Dragon Temple in the Green Dragon Village, the village girl in charge of cleaning the Green Dragon Divine statue widened her watery eyes. She looked at the Green Dragon Divine statue that was filled with light for the first time in thousands of years and immediately ran out in shock. The Green Dragon Divine statue has lit up, the Green Dragon Divine statue has lit up. This kind of thing happened in many rural villages, but the most shocked group was still the knowledgeable beast tamers in big cities. Divine Capital, Green Dragon Museum. This was a museum that collected ancient items related to the faith of the Green Dragon God. The owner was a level 6 Dragon Element Master. He looked at the empty Green Dragon Museum and saw that the items of the Green Dragon God's faith flickered uniformly. He opened his mouth in shock and looked around, wondering if some senior was joking with him. Impossible, absolutely impossible. He was a top-notch master. Even if the other party was at the overlord level, they couldn't pretend in front of him. What was going on? In a luxurious villa in the ancient capital. In front of a television, a curly-haired auntie sleeping soundly on the sofa suddenly woke up from her dream with a dazed expression. "What's wrong, honey? Did you have a nightmare?" "What's wrong, Mom?" Yushu said. The father and son who were communicating at the side looked at this woman happily. "It's not really a nightmare. I just dreamed of the Green Dragon God and said that he wanted to borrow my power. It's King Strange." Yushu's mother, the top-notch dragon tamer, cursed and lit a cigarette. "You just haven't rested enough," Yushu said. He knew that his family believed in the Green Dragon God, so it wasn't strange for his mother to have such a dream. "But it feels pretty real," Yushu's mother said strangely. This kind of thing happened everywhere in Donghuang, even abroad. Chapter 855 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 6. 855 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 6. In the Seven Islands area, there were also groups who believed in the Green Dragon Totem. At this moment, in the Green Dragon God Shrine, the witches also looked at the Green Dragon statue that had appeared in confusion and shock. He shouted for the legendary Divine Master. Totem Nation, Dragonman Empire. The surrounding totem countries were not unfamiliar with the ruler of the Dragonman Empire, the Tyrant Dragon King. This tyrant called himself the Orthodox Green Dragon and also evolved towards the Green Dragon as a template. However, in the form of a green dragon, it also required the citizens in the country, be it humans or transcendent creatures, to believe in themselves and the Green Dragon. At this moment, this outstanding totem, the Tyrant Dragon King known as the most likely to become a demigod in the East, erupted with a terrifying aura in extreme anger. It felt that its power of faith had been thrown into competition. Its dragon eyes were filled with indescribable shock. It looked at the starry sky in confusion. At the same time, in just a short while, the hot topic of the Green Dragon divine appearance rushed to the highest trending topic on the Donghuang network, causing a national discussion. If it was just an exception, it wouldn't have caused such a big reaction. However, the faith accumulated by the Green Dragon totem for millions of years made its believers distributed to various levels. Although it wasn't as vast and long as the real Blue Sea Sprite, it was still a power that couldn't be underestimated. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for many totem half-gods to covet that power. Of course, this situation also appeared in the huge dragon faction of Dragon Palace City. What happened? Don't tell me that the Green Dragon was really born because of the power of faith. In Dragon Palace City, the Sea Dragon King received the report of the Turtle Prime Minister with a doubtful gaze. Should we inform the Dragon God? No one knew that all the mutations came from the starry sky. In the starry sky, spiritual faith fluctuations that filled the sky crossed space and gathered on the body of the Green Dragon constellation. At the side, the mechanical legendarist gaze was already stunned. He looked at the gathered power of faith in confusion. Just like seeing Shiyu's pet master a quasi-divine skill, it was extremely stunned. From the start, the mechanical legendary didn't think that Shiyu's worm could evolve into a green dragon. It wasn't that easy. He didn't refuse Shiyu's request because he thought that even if the evolution failed, as long as he completed the evolution, his strength wouldn't be weak. Didn't those dragon totem half-gods also evolve towards the green dragon and fail? But were they weak? No. Therefore, with the thought that it was not a loss either way, he brought Shiyu to the starry sky. However, what made the mechanical legend unable to calm down was that at this moment, the butterfly of imagination during the evolution process was actually absorbing the power of faith from an unknown source. How was this possible? Roar! Finally, the gathering of power of faith perfected the last body of the Green Dragon constellation. Accompanied by a dragon roar that resounded through the starry sky, its body completely formed under the green-gold evolution light. Its body was 10,000 meters long and occupied the starry sky. It looked like a dragon, had 2 golden horns on its head, and was covered in green scales. Its eyes and tail seemed to be burning with golden spiritual faith flames, and its image was extremely shocking. After the evolution of the era and the migration of history, the image of the green dragon was different. However, the green dragon that Buggy finally turned into was not inferior to any green dragon. After all, apart from the form of the green dragon, Buggy had also integrated the perfect dragon concept optimized by the various dragon statues into it. At this moment, Shiyu's heart was extremely excited, and it thumped. At the side, the mechanical legendary was still in shock. Name? Attributes: Spirit, Space, Dragon. Energy points? What happened? The mechanical legendary looked at the energy data in front of him. Another one that couldn't be detected. He said in shock, Shiyu, don't tell me that it really evolved successfully. It really evolved into a green dragon that can receive the power of faith of the green dragon. Boom! Roar! With a green dragon roar, the shocking power erupted by Buggy swept through the starry sky. Under the enhancement of the power of faith from Blue Planet, its phenomenon immediately broke through the shield of the mechanical legend and lingered in the entire silver ring. What's going on? On the other side of the celestial ring belt, a group of beast tamers from Snowfield who had already completed the corresponding mission and were preparing to return to Blue Planet suddenly looked into the distance. With an incredulous expression, it reflected the shocking fluctuations transmitted from afar. Beep beep. Energy points? The huge energy wave was sensed by them even from afar. At this moment, this group of beast tamers from Snowfield who originally planned to return to the country exchanged glances. In an instant, with the help of the cosmic flying device, they also flew into the starry sky and looked into the distance. Then, they saw a shocking scene. Along with hearing a shocking dragon roar that could resound through a vast distance even in the starry sky. It was a 10,000-meter-long green dragon that circled the silver ring star belt and reflected under the moon palace. Its body was extremely shocked. In the face of its dragon roar, even the overlord pets and totem guardians beside this group of beast tamers in Snowfield were shocked and felt that it was unbelievable. Wait, what's that? Heavens, why would a dragon appear in space? What's going on? Hurry up and record it and send it back to Blue Planet. At this moment, the beast tamers of Snowfield were also extremely shocked. Chapter 856 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 7. 856 Evolution in the Starry Sky, 7. Of course, Shiyu and the others had no time to care about this group of people. If they saw it, so be it. In any case, it wasn't something to hide. At this moment, Shiyu was looking at the green dragon. In the spaceship, Little G and the others also looked at Buggy eagerly and hugged their heads in disbelief. Roar! As a dragon, why was it so handsome? Yes. Senior Divine Source. We succeeded! Shiyu's telepathy sounded. It made the Divine Source legend even more stunned. To be precise, it's half successful. Because its strength isn't enough, and it hasn't fulfilled its true obligations as a green dragon, it hasn't received much power of faith. It can't be considered a real green dragon, but it can already be called the creature closest to the green dragon. It has already truly exceeded other imitators and has the ability to mobilize the power of faith of the green dragon. Shiyu looked at Buggy in its enlarged state and was already very satisfied. He was incomparably happy. Buggy's golden eye stared at Shiyu and nodded. It was already very difficult for Shiyu to recognize that it was still the tool worm. It wasn't easy. Skill, where's the skill? At this moment, the legendary divine source no longer had the reservedness of a legend. Shiyu said, unfortunately, there are no quasi-divine skills. However, like the Blue Sea Sprite, it has relative faith skills, and there are two. I feel that it should be very difficult for faith skills to become quasi-divine skills. It's still relatively difficult to touch the power of laws with faith, but when these faith skills are cultivated into quasi-divine skills, it will definitely be the strongest demigod like Susu. As Shiyu spoke, he had already used his psychic power to control himself and fly towards the green dragon Buggy in its enlarged form. He wanted to try riding the green dragon. At the same time, he didn't hide it from the divine source legend. It has awakened a total of 3 skills. The Super Skill, Green Dragon Roar. Super Faith Skill, Dragon Raising Its Head, and Dragon Star Group. Senior Divine Source, Thank you very much. Their effects are: Name: Green Dragon Raw. Attributes: Dragon, Spirit. Level: Super. Introduction: It's a deterrent skill. It can strengthen one's deterrent skill and offset all deterrence that has a negative impact on oneself. Name: a dragon raising its head. Attributes: Dragon, Spirit, Wood, Water. Level: Super. Introduction: After being on the verge of death or after death, one can rely on the power of faith to recover or reincarnate. The faith is eternal. Name: Dragon Star Group. Attributes: Dragon, Spirit, Space. Level: Super. Introduction: It summons a dragon-shaped meteorite from the universe to attack. The meteorite is formed by the combination of the power of faith and the power of the starry sky. The stronger the power of faith, the greater the power. The evolved Buggy directly obtained 3 powerful super skills. The first could allow its deterrence to resist a divine deterrence like 11. The second was a skill that could be said to be immortal like the time mark. Perhaps it could do the same thing as Susu in the future, infinitely reincarnating. Third, just thinking about the power of the meteorite, Shiyu could imagine how terrifying the destructive power of the Dragon Star Group could be. Most importantly, at this moment, Shiyu could clearly sense that Buggy's life force, energy value, and physique, which were originally shortcomings, were no longer shortcomings, but strengths. Just the huge energy value that broke through the Overlord level restrictions like 11 proved how terrifying it was now. Its physique had already exceeded a group of quasi-mythical races, divine dragons, and dragons. It became the strongest, approached 11, and became the second physique in the team. Apart from that, it had also obtained the ability to survive fearlessly in the starry sky. It could survive in the starry sky alone. At this moment, Shiyu was already riding on Buggy's head. It had already returned to its normal 100-meter-tall state under normal circumstances and was still pillously domineering. Roar! Buggy, who had been repressed for a long time, finally felt that it had completely risen this time. Under the shocked gaze of the Divine Source legend, it began to fly with Shiyu in the starry sky. Both parties were extremely straightforward. Buggy, crush it! At this moment, Shiyu, who was wearing a spacesuit, gently patted Buggy's head and looked at a huge grey meteorite floating in the distance. Roar! All right. In the next moment, Buggy strengthened its body through the power of imagination and obtained incomparable speed and strength in the form of a perfect dragon. Just its physical strength seemed to have turned into a green-gold light that brought Shiyu to charge at the small meteorite with a diameter of 100 meters like a meteor. Boom! A green-gold meteor streaked across. Bang! The huge meteorite was directly penetrated and exploded into powder. This scene happened to be seen by the beast tamers of the snowfield, who were attracted by the huge commotion. They were extremely shocked. Although they didn't know why the 10,000-meter-long green dragon had become smaller, at this moment, they looked at the mysterious human in a spacesuit half squatting on the green dragon's head and holding its head. They were directly stunned. There's actually someone riding that creature. Who is it? Who exactly is it? How is this possible? A legendary beast tamer. Shiyu and Buggy had naturally discovered them long ago. However, since they were allies of the Seven-Nation Alliance, they ignored it. These people didn't have any safety awareness. They actually dared to come over directly with such a big commotion. Shiyu smiled and ignored them. Buggy's body turned into a green-gold meteor again and surged in the cosmic starry sky. My name is Divine Source. I'm a legendary beast tamer who specializes in mechanics. Now, I'm very confused. After I woke up, I couldn't understand the changes in this world. At the same time, the dozen or so aerospace elites in the Shui-Yuan Space Bureau also expressed their confusion. Apart from training the contestants of the World Tournament, the people here also had an archaeological mission. However, they never expected that the team that went to the starry sky would send back a shocking scene just as they were about to return. It was a short video of a green divine dragon shattering a meteorite in the incomparably dazzling silver ring star belt. If that was all, it'd be fine, but The key was that on the head of the Green Dragon, there was actually a mysterious human beast tamer in a spacesuit. From the clothes, this wasn't a beast tamer from Snowfield at all. Moreover, at the end of the video, there was also a shocking discovery of the mysterious beast tamer riding the Green Dragon. His identity was unknown. Chapter 857, 857 Green Dragon Cultivation Plan. 857 Green Dragon Cultivation Plan. Irina. The legendary beast tamer of the Snowfield Nation, one of the contestants of the World Tournament, had extraordinary strength. The trump card was the Star God Bear. It was a new race cultivated by the Snowfield Nation after exploring the starry sky. It was known as the strongest bear. Irina's Star God Bear was the son of the first-generation Star God Bear, the second Star God Bear in the world. Because he was a hybrid, his talent potential was even higher than his parents'. As one of the members of the Snowfield Nation's exploration of the starry sky, after discovering the Green Dragon phenomenon, she quickly followed her companions to investigate. However, what was difficult for her to accept was that she and the Star God Bear couldn't even get close to the target. Roar! A huge dragon roar sounded, and the Green Dragon deterrent swept through the starry sky. Her Star God Bear, known as the strongest bear race, couldn't even move at this moment, its eyes filled with fear. Bang! 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 Irina could hear the heartbeat of the white Star God Bear in space equipment with the moon symbol between its eyebrows clearly. Totem level. With a legendary beast tamer? Her gaze was shocked. Who exactly was it? Let's go back. Beside Irina, there was also the guardian of the Snowfield Nation this time, the top-notch totem, the first-generation Star God Bear. At this moment, its expression was also incomparably solemn. Cold sweat flowed as it looked at the Green Dragon with fear. After hearing the other party's dragon roar, even it felt its heart skip a beat. It felt that it was completely crushed at the bloodline level. Even a trace of fear appeared in its heart. Named to Star God Bear. Attributes: Light. Race level: High-level Overlord, Quasi-mythical. Level of growth: Overlord. Energy points: 80,210,000. Although Shiyu and Buggy ignored this group of beast tamers from the Snowfield, they were also paying attention to their movements at all times. After all, there was more than one totem-level life form inside. There were also many powerful top-notch overlords and legend beast tamers. However, what made Shiyu happy was that the pets below the totem level were actually so scared that they couldn't move when they heard the Green Dragon roar. Even totem-level lives were stunned by the deterrence and didn't dare to act rashly. Not bad. Shiyu could sense the power of Buggy's current deterrence. Its current full-level deterrence, under the enhancement of the Green Dragon roar, should be called the strongest deterrence, at the same level. Perhaps there was no need to do anything at all. Just the deterrence wrapped around the body was enough to instantly kill a top-notch overlord. With a claw, it could make other lives feel unstoppable fear. Buggy's current deterrence gave Shiyu the feeling that even if Baby Ginseng, Kai Tong, and the others dealt with it, they would be instantly killed. At the same level, even the demon god iron-eating beast before the evolution of light and darkness would be suppressed. However, now, 11 relied on the power of the mythical race and the obliteration power of the yin-yang millstone to not be afraid of any deterrence. But at the same time, Buggy didn't have to worry about the nomological pressure brought by 11's mythical race and quasi-divine skills. Although it wasn't a god yet, it already had the capital to fight against a god. Kid, enough. The divine source legend quickly called Shiyu back with a complicated gaze. As for Shiyu, he was naturally very obedient. He rode the Green Dragon and flew around before returning to the starting point. How's the situation in your beast-taming space? The divine source legend asked. The evolution of the butterfly of imagination exceeded his imagination. He immediately asked about Shiyu's beast-taming space. Was it affected? Shiyu shook his head and said, "It's a little uncomfortable. The enhancement is smaller than I imagined. The feedback attributes are spread out in various aspects such as vitality, mental strength, physique, and the beast-taming space. Although the space has been strengthened, I'm afraid I still have to meditate for a period of time to break through. The divine source legend was stunned, but soon, he said, forget it, forget it. It doesn't matter. In any case, in your current situation, breaking through or not is the same result. You don't have to be anxious. You're only 20 years old. The next 10 years will be a rapid growth period. Your body can still take it, right? Shiyu said, I can take it. The increase in feedback is very comprehensive. Although the burden is a few times greater than before, it's still within acceptable range. That's good. The divine source legend then looked at the green dragon under Shiyu that had ignited its divine fire of faith. Its mouth felt dry, although it was now a machine. What name are you going to give it? Wu-tilde Buggy didn't say anything. It waited for Shiyu to name it. Even someone as powerful as it began to be afraid. After the Wantan Panda, would it be the green pepper meat silk dragon? It hated green peppers and green dragons. Shiyu smiled and said, although it's not a green dragon yet, let's call it a green dragon directly. Senior Divine Source, I have an idea. Name a Buggy. Race, green dragon, evolving. Attributes, spirit, space, dragon, wood, water mixed dragon. Race level, high-level overlord, quasi-mythical. Speak, the divine source legend said. Although the legend of the green dragon has a long history, many people know that the green dragon is only fiction. Although the introduction of the fiction is powerful, the people who believe in the green dragon are very scattered. Not only are there other totems fighting for faith, just 3 of the 4 holy beasts are already fighting for the power of faith. Although the faith of the green dragon is enough to crush any totem country that relied on faith to form a country today, there's still a certain difference compared to an ancient half-god like the blue sea sprite. Although the green dragon is magical, it's basically just bragging at the moment, without enough faith support. The green dragon has never done anything for believers. Chapter 858, 858 Green Dragon Cultivation Plan, 2. 858 Green Dragon Cultivation Plan, 2. This way, it's impossible to use faith to become a god. Reaching the level of the blue sea sprite is the limit. Therefore, I wonder if I can introduce some policies in Donghuang to nurture Buggy into a true Eastern Guardian god and let it obtain more power of faith. The Dragon of Imagination skill still has 2 evolutions in the future. With the enhancement of stronger power of faith, next time, maybe it can evolve into a true mythical race's green dragon, not the current green dragon prototype Zudot. If I want to have the ability of a god like the legendary green dragon, I definitely need more power of faith. The mechanical legend, divine source, was silent. Shiyu wanted to nurture believers in Donghuang. Back then, when he established the country, he destroyed the totem clan immediately. Those factions that believed in totems were all dealt with. Was Shiyu going to reverse history? Such a faith system was very different from the current operation system of Donghuang. How do you want to do this? The divine source legend asked. Shiyu said, there's no need to be too strict. Let's just set up a new traditional festival of Donghuang. It'll be called the Green Dragon Festival. Dragon raising its head will promote the green dragon culture. It's mainly carried out among ordinary people, especially in the huge number of villages under third-level cities that rely on farming for a living. They are the main force of faith. In Donghuang, there were definitely more ordinary people than beast tamers. And the meaning of the dragon raising its head is the blessing of disaster eradication, smooth weather, and prosperity. Buggy was excited. Was it going to become a big star? Being a dragon was pretty good too. And fixed on this day, I will let it fly all over Donghuang. With the power of imagination, it will really help the ordinary people eliminate disasters and bless them, allowing the faith zone to have good weather and prosperity. Continue this for 100 years, 1,000 years, or even 10,000 years. With this faith, it can protect Donghuang forever. Buggy thought it seemed tiring. Fortunately, there were clones and ginseng babies. The divine source legend fell silent again. Donghuang currently had many guardians. Just Lin Feng alone had left many guardians behind. However, most of these guardians ate, drank, and slept. Apart from Dong Huang encountering a disaster, they basically wouldn't do these trivial things. Although it was for the power of faith, was Shiyu preparing to do it for real? I'll consider it. If it were anyone else who made such a suggestion, the divine source legend would definitely ignore it. Since entering the modern era, there were very few areas in Dong Huang where they couldn't afford food. After all, it wasn't backward ancient times. Therefore, the Green Dragon Festival was not very meaningful. However, he had to consider Shiyu's suggestion. This was because Shiyu was a beast tamer with legendary aptitude in the true sense of the word. This worm had even done an unimaginable thing, taking the right step towards the Green Dragon God. If Dong Huang could maintain the current situation, it naturally didn't matter if there was one more or one less guardian. However, the problem was that there were no factions with continuous inheritance. He had to consider it in the long term. In that case, maintaining the faith of the Green Dragon could become an indestructible trump card of Dong Huang, like the mechanical phantom beast plan. At this moment, Shiyu was looking forward to it. Now, he hoped that the more power of faith Buggy had, the better. The Green Dragon Festival was actually a traditional festival in China on Earth. On the second day of the second month of the lunar calendar, it was also a festival that surrounded the beautiful belief of the dragon god. This festival mainly believed in the Green Dragon astronomical phenomenon. However, on this blue planet, because of the many wars in the Totem era, very few traditional festivals were preserved. Although there was the faith of the Green Dragon, there were no large-scale traditional holidays related to the Green Dragon. This way, the faith of the fictional Green Dragon was actually very easy to break. The Blue Sea Sprite had suffered a similar loss. Shiyu planned to imitate this holiday event when the time came. He would combine it with the national situation of Dong Huang and show the divine source legend. If Dong Huang didn't allow him to do it, he could only go do it elsewhere. For example, the Dragonman Empire. After all, Buggy had two skills at this moment that were related to the power of faith. They had to utilize it. There weren't many gods who were willing to do real things. People had to believe Buggy more. He really planned to let Buggy fulfill the Green Dragon's obligation. After all, if he didn't do this, it was impossible for Buggy to evolve into a real Green Dragon. Senior Divine Source. Yes? Tell me, can the world competition be broadcasted live? Divine Source? What do you mean? If we can broadcast it live and let more people see the Green Dragon show its might, won't its believers be very excited? Wouldn't that allow it to gain more faith? Apart from Dong Huang, its believers should be distributed all over the world, right? So when we go to Inatella, can we suggest to the World Tree to follow the trend and do a competition live broadcast? Divine Source. Was this bastard going to the competition or to use it for his own gains? Let me see its faith skill first, the Divine Source legend said. Shiyu expressed his understanding. He also wanted to see Buggy's Dragon Star group. Roar! Buggy's eyes were filled with invincibility. Golden divine flames of faith flowed in its dragon eyes, dyeing its eyes golden. Under the condensation of the power of the starry sky and the power of faith, in the cold and dark starry sky, soon, a huge meteorite condensed from nothing. From 1 meter in diameter to 10 meters in diameter and 100 meters in diameter, the green-gold meteorite kept enlarging, and the energy contained inside became larger and larger. Just like that, it floated in the starry sky of the universe, making the mechanical legend gradually shocked. Chapter 859 Green Dragon Cultivation Plan, 3. 859 Green Dragon Cultivation Plan, 3. Soon, this meteorite reached a diameter of 1,000 meters. It was extremely shocking for it to become a huge asteroid. The energy contained inside had already far exceeded the level of an overlord. Wait. The Divine Source legend hurriedly stopped and asked, if it was on Blue Planet, could it still condense this move? Shiyu said, yes. It's just that the time required is longer. But it's alright, because it can condense at any time. Moreover, the condensation of this move mainly depends on the power of faith and the power of the starry sky. be it condensing or mobilizing, it won't cause too much energy consumption. It's the same principle as borrowing the power of nature. Even when it's not in battle, it can condense a meteorite on Blue Planet when it's bored and condense a meteorite group. When it needs to fight, it can summon the meteorite. In terms of power, as long as there's enough power of faith, although it's at the overlord level now, it can cause destructive power that exceeds the demigod level. If there are no defense facilities, it can easily destroy a country with the power of the meteorite. In a small country like the Heavenly Fox Nation, even the current buggy can destroy it without any effort. Shiyu was willing to call this move the strongest attack method in the team. It was as impressive as Susu's combination faith skill. At the current stage, Baby Ginseng's self-destruction and Eleven's quasi-divine skill, Yin-Yang Millstone, had to stand aside. This move was actually similar to borrowing the power of nature. It wasn't Buggy's own power, but the power of the Green Dragon's faith, so it easily gave it destructive methods that exceeded the overlord level. From this moment onwards, Shiyu could be said to be really not afraid of any totem faction. If they wanted to be his enemy, he would directly get Buggy to pull 10 meteorites and smash them at their totem country to see who couldn't take it first. It was just a little inhumane. It was destined not to be a skill that could be used casually in peaceful times. It could be said that this was a skill comparable to a forbidden weapon. Forbidden move. It had to be banned. Whether it was inside or outside the team, it couldn't be used easily. Otherwise, cities like Icefield and Wu Ling would probably instantly turn into nothingness and it would destroy the city in one hit. If not for the fact that the surface strength and spatial strength of Blue Planet were strong enough, Shiyu suspected that when cultivated to the extreme, this move could destroy an era and cause a large-scale extinction of creatures. He could say that he was looking forward to Buggy perfecting the Green Dragon form and undergoing divine evolution more and more. Therefore, he had to collect the power of faith no matter what. After all, condensing a meteorite consumed the power of faith. Although it was enough now, as time passed, if there was no replenishment, the faith skill would be expensive. It was equivalent to saying that when the sea on Blue Planet dried up, Susu's Blue Sea contract would be useless. Apart from that, Buggy's immortal body and infinite reincarnation also needed the power of faith. Are you serious? At this moment, when he heard that Buggy could condense a meteorite at any time and hang it in the starry sky as a forbidden armory, the Divine Source Legendary directly shut down. You call this a super skill? Even quasi-divine skills couldn't achieve such an effect, right? You wouldn't use this move in the world competition, right? The Divine Source Legend said. If this move continued, it was afraid that the island where the World Tree lived would sink. Although the World Tree would definitely defend, wouldn't Dong Huang be banned by the World Tree after using it? Blessing of the World Tree. The curse of the World Tree, more like. After all, it consumes the power of faith that's very difficult to replenish. If the faith skill isn't stronger, it's not worth those dragon demigods going crazy over it. Shiyu smiled. But I think the World Tree shouldn't prohibit any skills, right? After all, it's the World Tree. Shiyu recalled the book about the matter of me forcing the judge to stop the battle because of a skill. In his opinion, the super skills like the Blue Sea contract and the Dragon Star group shocked him even more than Ling's Wind blessing. No wonder those totems like to play with faith to become gods. Some faith skills weren't necessarily weaker than quasi-divine skills of laws. Moreover, when faith skills were cultivated to the extreme, they could also touch laws and strengthen themselves. If only the World Tournament could be broadcasted live. At that time, the status of the panda as Dong Huang's national treasure would be completely unshakable. Perhaps 11 could also have a faith skill in the future. The Divine Source Legend was speechless. With a renewable forbidden weapon, he actually couldn't find a reason not to let Buggy collect the power of faith. Just thinking about it. If thousands of meteorites more than 1,000 meters in diameter or even larger hung in the starry sky of the universe, with the current world structure, as long as the mythical revival didn't happen, which country would dare to start a war with Dong Huang? After some communication, the Divine Source Legend experienced an extremely complicated emotional change and began to bring Shiyu back to Blue Planet. The surrounding beast tamers of the Snowfield Nation also returned to Blue Planet dejectedly under the isolation of the mechanical legend. At that moment, if not for the fact that the Divine Source legend had persuaded Shiyu even wanted to ride the Green Dragon buggy and even the meteorite condensed by buggy just now. At this moment, the most stunned was still President Lin. At this moment, President Lin and the Dong Huang team had already arrived at Rongguang. However, not long after arriving at Rongguang, President Lin received an important report from the Domestic Intelligence Bureau through special communication methods. President Lin, bad news. Not long ago, more than 10,000 faith items related to the Green Dragon totem in the country filled with light. That feeling is like faith resonance. We even obtained news that not only Dong Huang, but similar things also happened on the Seven Islands, Dragon Palace City, and even the Totem Country. I understand. Don't worry about it. President Lin hung up in silence and said calmly. Then, he looked at the starry sky. He looked in the direction of the Divine Source legend and Shiyu to evolve the Green Dragon. President Lin, oh. Chapter 860 Kingdom of Glory, Rongguang. 860 Kingdom of Glory, Rongguang. Shui Yuan Nation. Ever since the Azure Dragon phenomenon scene was transmitted back, the video was immediately studied by several legends. As they couldn't detect the energy value of the Green Dragon, both the witness and the beast tamer in the Snowfield country subconsciously judged that this was a totem-level life form. After all, overlords with energy values exceeding 100 million were really too rare. In comparison, totem level was not that rare. Moreover, to be able to ascend to the starry sky, it couldn't be as simple as an overlord. Why did a green divine dragon appear in the starry sky? Who was the mysterious beast tamer who controlled it? Now, Shui Yuan was extremely puzzled, and even alarmed the legends of Shui Yuan. Lord Vader. In the Snowfield Space Agency, more than 10 aerospace elites gathered and looked at the scene coming from the starry sky solemnly. At this moment, a middle-aged man in animal skin armor with a dignified expression entered with the director of the Space Administration. When the aerospace elites present saw this person, they immediately looked up and greeted respectfully, their hearts thumping. The legendary god of war in Snowfield, Vader, came from a low-level soldier and rose up in the totem battle. He fought his way to the end of the war and became a legendary. He was the pillar of the entire Snowfield. Are our people back? On the way back. The Snowfield battle god, the legendary beast tamer Vader, looked at the green dragon in the video with a deep gaze and said, "Is this what you wanted me to see?" Lord Vader? One of the legendary for spirits of heaven, the guardian god of the east, and also the god of fictional stars, the director of the Space Bureau said. In history, countless creatures evolved towards this legend. Countless beast tamers evolved their pets into this form in order to obtain the power of faith of the green dragon. When our astronauts captured this scene in the starry sky, according to the spies everywhere, there were magical reactions from objects of the green dragon's faith all over the world. No matter how you look at it, this isn't a coincidence. Legend Shui Yuan said, "You mean, someone succeeded and evolved his pet into a green dragon." The legend of Snowfield was not unfamiliar with the green dragon. He had once fought in the east and chatted with the mechanical legendary and evolution legends of Dong Huang. He was a figure who stood at the legendary level. He naturally knew a lot about this kind of not-so-secret legend. It was said that Emperor Shi, Emperor Wu, Empress, Dragon Emperor, Space Emperor, Lin Feng, and the other legends of Dong Huang had tried to evolve their pets into the legends of the four spirits of heaven, but none of them succeeded. Vader didn't expect that at this moment, his subordinates would actually send information of someone suspected to have successfully evolved into a green dragon. Yes, it should be Dong Huang's beast tamer. Our people don't know that someone has come to the starry sky at all. Only Dong Huang and Shen Feng have this ability. Compared to Shen Feng, Dong Huang has a deeper obsession with the green dragon, so we determined that the beast tamer who evolved the green dragon and rode the green dragon should be from Dong Huang. It's just that her identity is still unknown. If this green dragon is at the totem level and they contracted it, is it possible that this is a new legendary of Dong Huang? Who is it? Could it be President Lin of Dong Huang? After all, he's a descendant of Lin Feng's legend. Or is this green dragon an uncontracted creature? The Snowfield battle god looked at the screen and said, that old man Divine Source definitely knows something. He must have planned it. After a moment of silence, Vader said, have they achieved something that the legendaries of Dong Huang have never achieved? I wonder how strong that dragon is. Looks like I have to ask that old man in person about the situation. Let's go to Rongguang. Outside Blue Planet, a spaceship was entering Blue Planet from the starry sky. Inside the spaceship, Shiyu sat on the carpet and closed his eyes to meditate, consolidating the feedback from Buggy's evolution breakthrough. And in his legendary ruins, Buggy had already returned to its position. Buggy's evolved body was still a little big. In order to not waste too much physical strength, it still shrunk to the size of a water bottle when it wasn't in a battle state. It was like a mutated green silkworm, lying on the ground smugly. It took out the ice-eyed white tiger, the mountain tortoise, the green-scaled dragon, and the black meteorite yak puppet from its spatial pocket. After breaking through and evolving, Buggy immediately felt that these things were boring and took up a little space. These puppets were indeed useless to Buggy. Even if it was a puppet of the black meteorite yak, it was still a question if it could withstand Buggy's attack without collapsing. It was basically eliminated after a few times. Now, even legendary equipment was not very useful to Buggy. Nothing was as useful as the power of faith. Therefore, Shiyu's suggestion was to let Susu cleanse these puppets and pack them up in Dragon Palace City to treat the Sea Dragon King, the Ice Dragon King, and the others to roast meat. He would treat it as a thank you for the dragon transformation fruit. Sob. Everyone pointed at the evolved Buggy. For example, 11's round body stood on the ground, its gaze filled with curiosity. It wanted to grab Buggy, but the divine dragon swung its tail and dodged. Woo woo woo. Can you still spit silk now? 11 waved its hands and asked. Buggy? Gee! Every dragon whisker now is the strongest silk with ever-changing changes. It can even cut through space and hardening. Buggy looked invincible. It felt that its current strength was not much inferior to the leader. Without exhausting the power of faith, it was now immortal. It was useless even if a mythical race came.